exciting 21st century world.
Our first story today poses 3 questions.
Questions are, why are siblings so similar? But so different.
The next, the next question says, how much parenting affects us in future generations?
And the third question poses, which one contributes most to our personalities, nature
Or nurture?
Holidays from the CBA News. We're here with Maya Hudson today, and she's going to talk to us about the very important side to the nature versus nurture debate. Tell me, Miss Nurture, what are your views on conflict with parenting?
Well, if a child is in a home where parents are divorcing, or if there's conflict between friends and other family members that aren't directly associated with the child, it still causes major risks for depression and anxiety in the child, even though it's not directly related to the child.
Very interesting. So, tell me, what exactly is the mother and father's role in the situation, like the parent to child? How does that work?
Well, according to studies, if the parents are more positive, the child has a more positive outlook on life, and if they're more negative and hostile, they can develop things such as depression and anxiety, as I said before.
I see what you're saying. So, would you agree with the statement that the parent is more at fault in situations with rebellious children?
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah, because according to a study in Iowa, the parents that were more hostile to their children were more rebellious. And the parents that were more accepting of the child's faults and mistakes, they were more normal. I don't know
And this
what to
had
say.
nothing to do with their genes, right?
No, it was purely on how they were raised, which is the nurture aspect of the debate.
Well, there you have it, folks. That's the scoop. Tune in next time for CBA News, the holiday edition. Now back to the studio.
I'm here in a very important scientific lab from the CBA News, here to interview Ms. Yamasaki about her new equation. It's a breakthrough for psychology, Ms. Yamasaki.
Hello.
Tell us.
Previously, we have thought that the nurture and the parenting, like the little kids, we have thought that that is the most prevalent thing in who you will turn out to be. However, recent studies have shown that nature is indeed a prevalent factor as well.
The next topic of discussion in this debate is the nature side.
Back to the field with Diane.
Hello again and welcome to the CBA News. Here we're looking for another person to interview about the other side of the debate, the nature side. Let's see. Hello, miss. Can I get a word from you? We're talking about the very important issue of nature versus nurture.
Is this live?
No.
Okay.
And you are on TV.
Hi, Mom! Okay, sorry, go on.
All right, security. Okay, now we want to know, what do you have to say about this debate? Which side are you on?
Nature. Nature 100% of the way. Nature's
That's-
the only way to go.
Well, good. That's exactly what we're looking for. So, miss, how would you say that genetics affects personality?
I would say that genetics most definitely directly affect personality, and there's no debate over that.
Really? All right. Very interesting. Now, I have another question for you. Well, you may argue that. Some argue that parents play a very significant role in the development of a child. What do you have to say about this?
I mean, I believe that parents play a significant role, but only in the genes that they give. It's the hereditary things that end up showing most in a child, despite.
So the parent disciplinary measures have little to no effect on the child.
No, I mean, if those parents were terrible people, their children are going to turn out to be terrible people. Not like, even if they turned into good parents. So,
Terrible people by genetics.
yes, genetically terrible.
All right. Are there any specific cases that you can name that have proven the point of view that you seem to take?
I mean, certainly, there's lots of cases where they take twins, they separate them at birth, and some are taken into adoptive homes, and some stay in fostered homes, and some even stay with their parents. I think twins are the best example for this because they're like most genetically close, obviously. And in these studies, these kids are raised in totally different environments, but that doesn't impact anything because they turn out more like their genetically like stable parents than they do like their adoptive parents.
So what you're saying is that the twins actually have similar personalities even though they had completely different environments.
Yes, there's several cases of this.
So all in all, environment is not a big factor.
No, environment really doesn't matter. It's who you came from, not where you came from.
All right, well, there you have it, folks. That's the scoop for CBA News. And now we're heading back to the studio.
Here we are back in the lab with Mrs. Tavowski. Ms. Tavowski, can you tell us about the statements you previously heard on our TV show, CBA?
Hello. I would like to say that I do agree that nature has been underestimated in the past. This is actually due to many things, which we will discuss later. However, nature is not the single operating force either. There is a distinct interaction between nature and nurture that is overlooked by both of the people we have previously interviewed.
Back to the studio.
Here we are on CBA News with a special inside look in the classroom of the prestigious Professor Flanagan to find out what he has to say about nature versus nurture.
Hello, class. We're going to return to our discussion from yesterday about nature versus nurture. Do you have any questions? Yes.
Mr. Flanagan, I've got a question for you.
Okay.
What is the relationship between nature versus nurture? I'm very confused.
Well, nature and nurture actually affect one another.
Wait, could you go into more depth on how they affect one another?
Well, people with certain tendencies are influenced by the environment around them, while the environment influences how tendencies are shown.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Weird that down. Oh,
Yes?
How much do we actually know about genetics? Like, how do they impact behavior?
Well, we don't know everything about genetics. It's relatively new, but it's believed that they have a very high, very great role in the study of behavior.
Alrighty.
Well, there you have it, folks, an inside look.
here I am back to the lab with Mrs. Kowalski to talk more about the subject of nature versus nurture. Mrs. Kowalski.
Thank you. Now that Professor Flanagan, he knows what's up, if you know what I mean, as the Americans say. And I would like to say that that is a very accurate statement. You see, nature and nurture interact with each other. In studies previously done, trying to pick out certain qualities of each one and how much they affect the human behavior, it is not possible. They are inseparable. They cannot be pulled apart. It is just simply not possible. So, as you could see, there is another side to the story that the professor briefly touched on, which is that the way that your genes are designed affects how you interact with the environment.
Now we're going to discuss how genes function in different environments.
Thank you. And next we will be going to a seminar with Mrs. Trabowski to examine how nature versus nurture work together.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hello, this is my 100th annual seminar, and this year we are discussing the age-old debate, nature versus nurture.
Amen!
So today we are going to talk about some very important points that are often overlooked in many research. The first point, very, very important to note, there is little compelling evidence for parenting actually done when the children are like these high, not when they're like these high. And that is a major problem, because if the parenting has no evidence that it even affects them once they reach about right up here, then what does it even matter? They do not take into account that once the person reaches adulthood, the parenting may have little to no effect on them, or at least no evidence to support that it does. Very important to note. Now, another thing that we often run across is the question of development should be, how does genetic effects modulate across lifespans of environmental interactions? Basically, what this means is, how do your genetics influence your environmental interactions? For example, one person may have the genetic tendency to do one thing in an environment, while another may be put in a different environment and not ever have that genetic tendency. I'd like to expand on that point and explain that a genetic predisposition can either manifest itself or not. Sometimes you will have the genetic predisposition, but it will never come out because you are not in the environment that triggers that genetic disposition. This study can often be seen in twins that are separated. Often one twin will be put in an environment where this genetic trait does come out and is triggered by the environment, and others will never have that trait triggered because of their environment. It's not possible to say, did the chicken come before the egg? It's not a matter of that. There is no way to know for sure whether the environment is affecting the genes more or the genes are affecting the environment. They are so interconnected that it is impossible to know for sure. And this video will show you that.
Here we are to interview two twins who were identical at birth but then separated from each other.
I'm here with one of the twins and her birth mom. Her birth mom is very aggressive because of her aggressive gene.
I told you to wash the dishes. I told you once, I told you twice, okay? You need to wash the dishes when I tell you to wash the dishes. But there's another side to this story. Her twin was adopted by a man who is considered to be much nicer. He does not have the gene that is most commonly associated with aggression.
I told you to do the dishes.
Yep, forgot about that. I'll go do them right now.
Okay.
Now we're going to do an experiment where we introduce the twin that was previously outside of the birth mother's home into it.
Hi. Who are you?
I'm your daughter.
What are you doing here?
I came to meet you.
I don't want to meet you, okay?
What?
No, I didn't want you. I don't want to meet you. Goodbye.
Why would you say that to me?
Oh, she's never acted like this before.
Why are you so nice?
I'm not nice anymore!
Thank you for coming to my seminar. I hope that you are a little more educated now. I know that you live in America and it may be hard to use these, but please do use your head. Think about these points and integrate them into the depths of your lives. Thank you, everybody. Woo!
Well, that's a wrap on our topic of nature versus nurture for today.
Thanks for watching CBA News.